What if I told you that some of the most successful people in the world aren't just riding their family's coattails? They're actively rejecting the spotlight to carve out entirely different paths. Let me tell you about a group of people who've turned their backs on Hollywood's glittering traps and instead chosen careers that feel refreshingly human. These aren't your typical Nepo babies. They're the ones who grew up with fame as a backdrop, but decided to build their own legacies in ways that have nothing to do with red carpets or paparazzi. And honestly, I think this trend says a lot about how we're redefining success in the 21st century. Take Bella Kidman Cruise, for instance. Her parents are two of the biggest names in cinema, but she's not chasing Oscars. She's selling tote bags with cowboy motifs and horror-themed prints. To me, that's wild. It's like she's saying, I'm not here to be a celebrity's child. I'm here to be an artist. But wait, isn't that exactly what she's doing? There's this weird paradox here. She's leveraging her name to sell art, but the art itself is deeply personal. What makes this really interesting is how she's using her platform not to escape her roots, but to redefine them. It's almost like she's creating a new kind of legacy, one that's more about individuality than inheritance. Then there's Tindyebwa Agaba Wise, who's working in criminal investigations. His parents are Emma Thompson and Greg Wise, but he's not acting, he's solving crimes. This feels like a rebellion against the idea that fame's children must be famous. But here's the kicker. He's not just avoiding the spotlight. He's choosing a career that's literally about justice. I can't help but think, what if more people with privilege used their platforms to fix broken systems instead of just profiting from them? It's a reminder that Nepo babies aren't all about excess. Some are quietly using their resources to do good. And let's talk about Samuel Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen's kid isn't strumming a guitar, he's saving lives as a firefighter. This isn't just a career choice, it's a statement. When his mom announced he joined the fire department, it felt like a middle finger to the idea that rock stars' kids have to be rock stars. But here's what's fascinating. He's embracing a role that's all about service, not stardom. It makes me wonder, what if we stopped expecting celebrities' kids to follow in their parents' footsteps and instead celebrated them for choosing paths that serve others? Eve Jobs, daughter of Steve Jobs, is another example. She's not coding or designing products. She's jumping on horses and walking runways. To me, this is the ultimate, I don't need to be the next Steve Jobs moment. Her career feels like a deliberate rejection of her father's relentless drive for innovation. But wait, isn't she innovating in her own way? By choosing equestrian sports and modeling, she's proving that success doesn't have to be tied to tech or entrepreneurship. It's a bold reminder that legacy isn't just about building empires. It's about finding your own voice. And then there's Charles Schaefer, son of Anna Wintour. Instead of editing Vogue or walking in fashion shows, he's diagnosing mental health issues as a psychiatrist. This isn't just a career change. It's a complete shift in worldview. He's taking the power of the fashion industry and redirecting it toward healing. What this really suggests is that some people with privilege are using their education and resources to address systemic issues, like mental health crises, that the world desperately needs. But here's the deeper question. Why does this happen? Why do some Nepo babies reject the fame game? I think it's because they've seen the cost of living in the spotlight. They've watched their parents deal with addiction, public scrutiny, and the pressure to be perfect. So they choose anonymity, not for lack of talent, but for freedom. It's like they're saying, I don't want to be defined by my parents' success. I want to be defined by my own choices. And yet, there's a contradiction here. These people still benefit from their parents' fame, whether through connections, visibility, or just the comfort of knowing they can afford to take risks. But that's the thing about privilege. It's not always about the perks. Sometimes, it's about the freedom to choose. So while they might have the safety net of a famous family, they're using that freedom to build lives that feel authentically their own. So what does this say about us? In a world that's obsessed with shortcuts and inherited success, these individuals are proof that true success isn't about the hand you're dealt. It's about the cards you choose to play. And honestly, I think we're starting to see a shift. More people are rejecting the idea that you have to follow in someone else's footsteps to be valuable. Maybe that's the real legacy of these non-Nepo babies. They're showing us that the most powerful stories aren't the ones we're handed. They're the ones we create for ourselves.